Alright, this isn't going to be super long, right?
No, this is gonna be pretty quick.
Okay, okay.
Main
That's what
advice
she
I'm
said.
looking for is, do I spend on cube sale or do I spend on second shining? Because if it's second shining, I can save a little bit more. And then the only other question is just for, do I continue where I'm at farming hotel, or I can one shot in farming gear in Odium? So
So the question
like
is, yeah.
FAMs
So
or XP.
yeah, FAMs and frags or EXP and frags. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be connected to your boss prog, right? What plans do you have there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that'll be connected to damage on what you can realistically go to. So your what bosses are you doing now?
I'm soloing up to Hard Lucid, and then Alex and I duo the rest of C10.
So up to Harlesson's. Okay. Okay. And the secret power is in. Have you tried any Saren Easy Kalos?
I have not found a party. It's the hard part.
Okay. Have you done like practice? Just go in and kind of like see what the boss is like. Get a little hands with it.
I am not, but I should definitely do that.
Just to look at the because you want to get used to, even with minimal skill visibility, on what your actual visibility is going to look like. You probably won't get through P1 on Kalos. You'll get through P1. I mean, you could do normal Saren, but normal Saren is it's good to get used to like the size of the hitboxes and everything. But hard Saren's attacks are faster in P1. Like the beams are a lot faster. So it would be good to just start with hard Saren, I think, just to like, jump around and just try to stay alive. See what you can dodge, see what you can't dodge, see, just to already feel a bit more comfortable staying alive in P1, so you have most of your lives going into P2, because that's the...
Yep.
It's usually just one burst P1, and then you kind of just wait for your burst to come back so you can nuke P2. That's mostly Saren. So if you can already be the one that has most of their lives, or all of their lives left, that'd be nice. I would always start looking for E-Kalos and hard Saren once you pass like 200 sacred power, because that's when you know you have you've got that requirement unlock.
Yep.
Because it is yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm just streaming the detailed section of Maple Scatter. So.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Scardor is always going to be a little
weird.
Yeah, grain of salt kind of territory. Like, I guess the lower you go, the less accurate it'll probably be.
Yeah.
And we're looking at KMS stuff. So always want to be careful with it. But I would be surprised if it said like hard Saren, yeah, party play, no normal yet. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that would be like what I'm recognizing is that party build possible would be like I'm min cutting on a full party of 6. Because I had someone explain it to me where it's like, if it's at 100%, then it's saying that in the 30 minutes total, you can do 100% of the boss's damage.
Yeah, if it says solo play min cut, that means that if you have 100% there, that theoretically your character is able to solo in full boss timer, which you will never reach. I think you should always add, depending on your hands, I would add up to like 50% to it to be a bit more realistic in terms of damage output. So where it says like normal Saren, 155, I think that's talking about soloing?
That is solo, yeah. These are all solo.
It's like up to... Oh, is it up to normal Saren that it's solo? I guess it doesn't specifically say party.
But these are all solo cut, I believe, because it's saying party play.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's saying party play because it says, okay, you would do 30% of the boss's health in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I was looking at the ones above that. It says impossible, but it just says, it doesn't say party or solo. It just says impossible. It doesn't even distinguish because, it's way out of your league, yeah. 0.07% of extreme calling? Damn, that's actually kind of impressive, bro.
Hell yeah.
You only need 150 of you to do...
I only need 30 minutes.
Oh no, 1,500 of you.
Much.
1,500 of you to do that boss. Easy. Close. Yeah, and then what's the the Black Mage situation. Those are the main bosses you want to work towards, right?
Yep. I am on. I just did Magnus, and so I'm waiting for next month.
Okay.
So.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you're progressing on that, by the time you like easy culling should probably already be on the weekly schedule as well. Probably normal callus e-culling or something. And hard Saren probably scaling down to like 4-mans. You could start scaling down Saren very quickly, but you'll have to see with your position, with your specific party, whether you guys want to scale down quickly and have a slightly longer run, but have better odds for the emblem, or whether you just want a quick run, just blow up the boss, and kind of not really worry about it too much.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the main thing that as a party you have to decide. So ideally you get a party like for all of these together. Is your Black Mage run, is that like a
I've just been jumping in where people have slots.
Yeah.
So
okay, no set party for everything. Okay. Yes, okay. Well, I mean, definitely start looking around. Parties don't just come falling from the sky. That's if you're in like a big active guild alliance that has like hundreds of people doing it, that people's secondary and tertiary characters are going to be starting up these things, and then you can jump into those. That's probably already going to be what your party is. Probably half is going to be people who are kind of like overtuned for your content, and half is people's like secondary character who have the mechanics and who can also start doing it, kind of thing, because of how old the game is. And you've been here for a long time as well, but you've been on in and out, right?
Yeah, it's been off and on, and it's like I kind of realized that there's no point in min-maxing and throwing my whole life into the game. I'm just kind of taking it step by step.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, I would look for some like-minded people who probably can play around the same time as you can. Start with the Discord, check in the Alliance regularly. Just float the name out there. Just every day, like ask sometime at the beginning of the day, ask again at the end of the day, to see if anyone knows anything. I just start putting some feelers out there. I know that there's some people. I mean, with the other party, I don't want to like give you people's names if they don't want to be like harassed or anything. But I'm like, Raina's pretty strong. Raina Blades, I don't know, he's not running the bosses right now. Zaikura's filling for us a lot of the time. Yeah. But so I know that he's looking for a steady party. I know he wants to do normal Kalos, but I don't know if his character is ready to do normal Kalos just yet. But maybe it looks like he's not ready because our party is still stronger, so he doesn't have enough time to do his damage, and he would be able to do his damage in a longer party. So there's like people around that. I would just look at people kind of like around your culvert score basically, and see what other people are around there, and maybe just if you see them online, just ask if they have a party.
You know the fun part about Bowmaster culvert score, right?
Well, yeah, maybe you look a little higher, look a little lower, like just like around it, right?
Yeah, Bowmaster culvert is just incorrect at all times.
Better than the Pathfinder, or?
No, because we're not a burst class, we're a DPM class, so it's like, yeah, I throw my burst at the end. I think I'm like with actually trying to min-max it, I think I'm like 7k. It's awful. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay. Yeah, I know. You said you were doing with Alex, with his Ice Lightning, or? No?
Nope, it's me and his
That's who I play with. Oh, it's Dark Knight. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Which is Dark Knight's like 40 mil CP, so.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
In the thing with a lot of the bosses is it's like I could solo them, but I just don't have the hands yet for it, so it just makes it a bit easier.
Yeah, short boss fight, extra binder.
Exactly. So.
No, yeah, that's what I do with Zeratek as well. I think Zeratek is around the same point as Uranus Mercedes. Well, it's further in. He's almost to 80, but in terms of what bosses he's doing, I don't think he's doing Black Mage either. I don't think he's doing 7, but he's doing a lot of R-Tail now, so I don't know. Usually when people aren't doing like these bosses, there's usually a good reason, and it's because they either play like irregularly or they play other games, or they're also kind of like off and on like you are. And there's like that level of, you don't want to force people to a level of commitment that they're not comfortable with. But if you make a party with all the people who are kind of like left over because they're all, not 100% committal, it also becomes an absolute nightmare getting those parties together every week.
Yeah.
And
because everyone works at different times, everyone has different things going on.
Yeah, or people just don't take it too seriously and they'll just like not show up and not tell anyone. And that's the reason why those people don't have a party yet, is because other parties don't stand for that shit, so you just get booted instantly, or you don't even find those parties because people aren't proactive enough to even go out there and get those. So that's the that's what happens there. That's why some people don't have parties for a long time, because kind of just wait for parties to come along, and they don't just come along. Like, you have to go out there and organize and try to get them. Try to find people who are in the same similar situation as you in terms of availability, and also try to find people who are willing to shoulder some of the responsibility together with you to try to find people. No one wants to be the one who has to like gather 5 people among a group of 10 people who are all super flaky. But if you have 2 or 3 of you who are always just making sure, like, hey, sending a message like, hey, are we good next week, this time, everyone good, give a thumbs up in the Discord, and then just so you're not the only one who has to do that. If everyone pitches in a little bit, then having a boss party becomes not only a lot more fun, but progressing together becomes something you look forward to, rather than like oh god, if I how long am I going to stay in this party? Like, what if I get too strong? Do I have to leave these guys again? Like, and then you don't want to have that party that feels like if one person leaves, the whole party falls apart. That's never a good that's not a good balance, right? That's not a good cohesion there.
You don't want to have the moment of the communicator has left the chat.
Something like that, and then everyone is like, okay, bye. And everyone else, yeah. I mean, someone has got to be the glue that happens automatically, but yeah, you want to. And if you are the leader, then one of the first things you want to do is unload some of the responsibilities to some other people, so they get bought in a little bit more to the whole project, and you aren't solely responsible for things. That just makes it more smooth. But yeah, again, it would be ideal that you find a party that does that does BM and Saren and wants to Kalos and Kaling. But there's got to be people around your level with those things that want that. They're not going to be super easy to find, but it's got to be a matter of checking in with the Alliance, checking with the guild, checking in the Discord, asking in the Twitch chat every now and then. Maybe making a party recruitment screen, right? And just saying like, hey, looking for progressing people to 70 plus who want to do BM, Saren, all of those. General availability, you're probably going to end up running on weekends. That's mostly, if you have like a mixed company, that's mostly going to be that. And because I imagine as well, some people might miss like certain runs because it's like a busy month in December, right? So it might be easier to pick up some people, and then if you have a good experience, they might as well just stay instead of gambling again on another party next month. And then even if you're only left with 2 or 3 people from that, it should help you have a more solid foundation to add people to that, rather than starting from just yourself, because that's kind of scary. I'm always on the lookout, but yeah, make sure you sign up for the roles in Discord, or just add people in there every once in a while, because they're in there for a reason. They have the role for a reason.
Gotcha.
And yeah, then you can start practicing, because phase 2 Kalos is where the boss fight is, but if you're strong enough, you just burst through that as well. But you need to get to that point, and sadly, you still can't practice phases of boss fights in this game, so you're gonna have to get a party to practice with. Yeah, or just do like a struggle practice or something, and just kind of see who shows up. And honestly, yeah, if you guys can communicate, and you can use my Discord if you want to for like the first time. If you don't want to set up a Discord for that, just a voice comm. Yeah. That should get you some kind of a start, and all. Then hopefully the ball can start rolling.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, because that's been like one of the things that I've had a lot of trouble with, is just like trying to figure out how to get people. Because I know like Alex and I do that stuff, because it's like we're about like he's got a mule about the same point. I need the boss anyway, and then he's like box fishing, which is great. So it's like win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a little more active in trying to find people.
Yeah, it's tough. Weeks. It's tough, but yeah. Like there's if you sit around waiting for it to happen, it's like with relationships as well, right? Like if you just sit around waiting for one to happen, it's not really gonna happen. You have to kind of get out there and.
What do you mean? They're not just gonna fall into my
lap? Somehow they don't just ring your doorbell and like, please, I want to date you. Sadly, that's not our reality. So yeah, you gotta get out there. Yeah,
that's tough.
That is rough. Yeah, it's our realities, bro. Okay, so this is the your stuff. So next step, boss prog, farmer exp. So farmer exp is definitely going to be if you want to move up into Kaling and beyond, right? We kind of just look at this basically as like a gradient here. You can see content level. So you see you're at the 270. Yeah. Hard Siren is 275. So. And easy culling as well, so you got to deal with some damage reduction. Not crazy at 270, but you probably want to be like 272 to 273 or something at least by this time. And of course you got the sacred as well, so you're at 220 now, so you're definitely beating like the min cut here. But up to 250 you're still going to do bonus damage for all of these three, and then up to 280 still bonus damage on culling. But also you can see here from the damage, culling is definitely quite a bit more, but it's not as spooky as it seems, because there's like a lot of different bodies at the same time, different phases, a lot of things that you can hit at the same time, so it's not exactly the same. But
calling doesn't scare me in the sense of like the health. It's more or less the like watching the strings and the mechanics. It very much looks like Vihila to me, and then I'm like, oh, and she's throwing all this other shit from the ceiling.
Yeah, there's a lot of space in between the strings. You could sometimes get hit accidentally. That happens. But the string mechanic, the most spooky thing is when everyone's just kind of doing their thing and not really looking at the gauge. And you'll have a bunch of... It's similar to Vihela in the sense that you don't have an amount of lives, and people... one person can die here, one person can die there, and it's not that big of a deal. But if you all have like a few deaths, you're just gonna, because of the cheese strat, right? You're just gonna die out of willpower in P3 if you don't have someone who's dedicated to like holding culling in one place and keeping culling away from the other people so they can just do their damage. And if the person's not doing that properly, or the other people are getting hit too much, and the person who's holding has to also try to get strings at the same time to balance out the graph, like that's too much. So it's all about division of roles there and of responsibilities. And if you need specific advice on like that, once you start forming a party, or you need like help with someone like to coach the party, just to be there as like a seventh person, then I can always you can always ask me about that, and I can always help out with that. That's no problem.
Okay.
So I'll definitely offer that if that's something that you need in the beginning, just to get it started. But I guess to get into the answer for your question of like, do you prioritize like the familiars or the EXP? You can definitely, even without most of the familiars, you can definitely get to like the level of jumping up to normal culling is a bit harder, but you can probably get to normal culling like without really boss fems.
Yeah.
Makes it a bit tougher. Extreme BM, I don't know. I think it's like around this point here, normal culling, extreme BM, that I think boss fems become pretty damn important. Yeah. So I would say if you need to do something of a balance between the two. If there's any kind of training event going on, or you're still like really pursuing the next boss, I would just prioritize the EXP and the fragments, because the fragments is a huge way of getting damage, and then the EXP just helps with cutting that minor damage. If your goal is like normal Kalos, then you do want to reach like close to 280 as possible.
Yeah.
But like 275, 276, 277 will already get you pretty close to normal Kalos and give you a healthy buffer for these guys as well. If this is like your furthest goal, like easy culling, hard Saren, then even like 273 to 274 is like a good point to be at. So I would at least aim for that at first, and then kind of see, you know, what's the party, who are the other people in the party. You know, there are some 285s in there who actually already want to push to the next one. And that's the other thing with the party. You don't want to desperately hold on to people, and you also don't want to hold on to people that you shouldn't. But yeah, that's more of a luxury problem as you're going. You'll have to feel the vibe out of the party if everyone's just kind of chilling with each other and nobody's really trying to, you know, get to the finish line too fast. Then everyone's kind of chilling. Then it's fine. You know, that you don't have to go too hard, I don't think. But if you personally have aspirations, it's really like that 5 level per area. That's really like where the goals probably align as well, whether you train or whether you go boss fams. I think a lot of people aim for like 280 on a main, and then once they hit that, they go boss fam for a bit, and they kind of see where they're at in terms of, can they commit to 285? Is it reasonable for them to go for the bosses that are at 285? And 285 is basically like the goal if you want to do like Extreme Lotus and maybe get into Sea Kalos. Kind of like this group of bosses here. Then 285 is like a good goal to set, and that also goes into connection with what do you do with Solyanis, right? If your goal is like 275, I don't know, keeping your Solyanis maybe even at level 1 is probably fine. But if your goal is 280, you know that earlier you get it to 10, the more helpful it'll be to get to that point faster. If your goal is 285, I'd probably get it to 20. And if your goal is like get to 290 or above, I would get Solyanis to 30. Probably not initially. I'd probably get it to 20. Then work a bunch on your Hexa so that you can make sure that when you hit these level marks, your Hexa is also on point when it comes to damage dealing. And then once they are on point with damage dealing and you can kill those bosses, then you can just like full send into Solyanis so you can get the levels out, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, my Solyanis is level 1, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. And your current familiars is just like, you know, regular, like some healing, IED, drop rate.
HP, and I have a 20% boss epic, so that is the only one I have.
All right, so it's not nothing. It's not too shabby. Yeah, so I guess in your current situation, especially if you wanna prog the bosses, you wanna go to Heart Saren and into easy culling eventually. I would try to get some levels, but like I said, yeah, I would primarily, if you feel like grinding, you really, you know, you just want to keep up with daily pressure, then I would might as well just do familiars, right? And then if you're like AFK and doing something else, you're not like 100% efficiency, whatever. But if there's like a whole bunch of triple EXP, there's a training event, you know, there's like something like Night Troop going on, or it's maybe one of those training Sunny Sundays where your rates are a lot better. Maybe then you focus training on those days instead, and just find a balance that works for you. Maybe check with Maple ranks, or, you know, once you get a party going, then they're like, oh yeah, we really want to move up to, you know, doing Heart Saren. And the damage is not there, or you're always blue and, you know, you don't want to feel like you're dragging the party. You could be like, okay, well, let's set a goal for like in a month or something, I'll try to gain 2 levels or whatever. And then you could kind of look at Maple ranks and see like what kind of EXP do I need to do per day. Is that something that you physically can keep up with, and like with your schedule, is it something that you can do? And then you can kind of get some motivation from leveling out of that, and then the whole party can also feel like we're all moving forward, and we're all getting stronger together because we want to get to the next boss, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if anyone is listening, or anyone in the party, anyone in chat is in a somewhat similar position with a main or with a side character and wants to start up a party, feel free to reach out to Phantoms here. And, you know, get started. Work on it together, because it is hard, especially if you also have a busy social life, or you have a family and you have a busy job and you're also doing other things. It is hard to set all those things up, and you kind of want to be able to just check a Discord. Oh, we're running in an hour, cool, and then just log in, do the thing, and kind of log out, and have it not be a whole thing. And you just, yeah, the hard part is finding the the people to do it with. That's the hard part. And then once everyone's on the same page and you just log in and do it together, then it becomes a whole lot smoother. We gotta get through the rough part. Yeah, so that would be my general advice on like leveling and prioritizing fragments, boss fams. So most people at either when they hit 280 or 285, for you it might be more like 275 or 280, I think, a little bit earlier, where you maybe take a bit of time off from hardcore grinding and then just go for the fams instead. Maybe a little bit more AFK-ish, a little bit more, a little bit less efficient, but still, in terms of growth, you'll still be keeping fragments, so your Hexa will keep up. And and then you just hope to get lucky on the boss times. I still haven't hit myself. Well, I got one from a booster pack, a little anticlimactic there, but
nice.
but I didn't get from any extra. From any actual like reveals from uniques. I didn't get any yet on the DA, so still waiting. I guess then we get into like your money situation, right?
Yeah.
So where's the current cash at? I see 300 mil here. I hope that's not everything.
No, I have after boss meals, which I'm finishing up today. I'll be at 20 bill. So a small amount, but an okay amount to work with.
Yeah, we could see which projects would be reasonable with that.
Because the other thought I had with this, especially, is so I have right now I have 2 hybrid lines, and the rest are all 1-line drop meso. And so I was almost even wondering if it makes sense to spend on just trying to get as much, like basically just trying to finish out the farming set, and then
yeah, that's most likely where you're at, because that's the other thing, right? You want to scale up your base income to make sure that when shinings come around that you can take mass advantage of it. That being said, getting the full hybrid gear is not insanely expensive, so you also don't want it to take away from money that you could spend on shining, but it's even cheaper during a cube sale, so why not do it then if you know that there is a shining coming in a month? So that, taking all that into consideration, that's probably what you want to focus on. Do you have a bunch of backups you can use next month for shining?
I have 1 backup glove, 1 backup boot. Those 2 I can tap. I got 4 Conus treasures. I have 4 superior belts. I have 3 slime rings. I have 2 dominator pendants. So I do have a decent amount that I could send. I also have a dreamy belt that I could just YOLO. So
yeah, that might be too early.
Well,
in terms
it's the
of
only
like
pitch I have. So even if I do it, it doesn't matter.
yeah. Well, I think it would matter because it would actually harm you in terms of money that could go towards an upgrade you can use until then, right?
When I say it wouldn't matter, I mean if I hit, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to equip it. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, probably. So you have 2 hybrid rests, 1 line. Okay, and you have the pieces to, because they're not too expensive, right? Well, on average, at least. Making the problem is, quote unquote, the problem is when you go with bright cubes and you're trying to make specifically trying to make the accessories that are 2 lines involving drop or meso-obtain, right? Like, on paper it's cheap. Well, for you it'd still be a significant amount of money. But on paper it's pretty cheap. The problem happens when you hit like, specifically looking for double meso and for double drop is very expensive, right? But what might happen is that you end up with a double meso, which is
looking for a hybrid or something.
A double drop is fine because you can work around that because you need way more drop than meso. But if you get a double meso, it's like it's almost like a fake, and you probably want to roll over that to actually get a hybrid because it'll mean that you probably need at least another drop specifically, and then that locks you into that very expensive one, right?
Yeah.
But of course you go through item 1 at a time until you hit an upgrade. The main thing, because I see you have 22 superior earrings, that's nice. But yeah, I would focus on that, on getting the drop in the meso gear, just because like you do mention backups and you do have some backups, and I think that's a good set of backups to aim for like some 19-star stuff, and maybe for some fodder stuff into 20, but then to just sit there and hold, so that whenever there's like probably like just the next 5, 10, 15, you should have like way more drop rate, and then because you can go up to like 426% now, right? And even with the ride or die, if you get lucky, there's like a big potion in there.
Yeah.
That'll just get you so many more backups, and that'll allow you to make a lot more risky decisions and then get value from those backups and actually save money to go for the same upgrades. You're kind of like in that paradox where if you have less money, you want to spend more to ensure your upgrades. You kind of want to do like the bright cube strategy or like all of the safeguarding because you have limited backups. But in doing that, you're actually slowing down your progress because you're paying for the safety there. Whereas if you get all the drop rate and all the meso, then you have so many items that you can make the more risky upgrades, or the upgrades in a riskier way, and then you actually end up spending less money. So you get double the value in the fact that you have more money to spend and you spend less per upgrade. So that's what that double bonus is what helps you progress through the game faster. Otherwise, you're too time locked.
Yeah.
So I would go for that set. So 10 lines of drop, 5 lines of meso, that combination. So you need 4 more hybrids.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that works out, even if I would probably look at this number just to be like on the super safe side. But even then, this is without the sale, right? So that looks like your full 20 bill.
And I want to buy red cubes for that, correct? Because double primes, essentially. Because that's
the brights, yeah. So it's like red, pinkish, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the old red cubes are the or the other ones are now the glowing. So that's why it says red here, but the cubes aren't the color red, but they used to be the color red. They used to call them red cubes. So just making absolutely clear. Yeah, because it's double prime, you want to use the bright cubes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if you're like on the top end here, it'll be your full 20 bill, but then or like on a higher end, but it should be 25% off. So you should have some money left for sure.
Yeah. And then I have a couple weeks to get some more money before SF, so.
Yeah, exactly. And then I would probably aim for some. So like, if you're looking for efficiency in terms of Starforcing, most of that is centered around like the 19 to 20 to 21 mark in terms of Starforcing. It's never at 22. Like that's way outside of the bounds of efficiency. It only gets into efficiency once everything is like 20 and 21 and there's not much to do and you have like 15 backups for one item. It's like, well, yeah, of course I tried that one, right? Like then it's a no-brainer. But like getting a 21 star Dominator or Daybreak to transfer into the Superior to gain 3 stars there guaranteed, or the same thing for the Superior Gollux Ring. Those are big jumps that you can make. You have any? Your 4 rings is Slime Superior, Reinforced, and Roar. Yeah.
Yep. It's Reinforced because Reinforced is 3 line, so that's why.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is there any crafting of Meister rings maybe possible for you?
I have 1 in my inventory, so I gotta get crafting back to Meister. So.
Yeah, that stays now, right? So now that's a better investment. Let's see. Yeah. You said you had the glove backup?
Yep, I have a backup glove and a backup boot.
Okay. Yeah.
So I basically am thinking if I get another box off of, because I'm gonna solo H Lucid.
Yep.
Today. So if I get another box, I'll buy another glove and then maybe just try to go for. Or actually, no, I'll hold the box probably as long as I can.
Yes, hold the box exactly. Then you have a universal backup, and then that allows you to probably walk up the shoulder and the cape like both up to 18 without having to click the box at all. So if you have boxes, and to anyone else, if you get boxes from the bosses this week, keep them as a box for as long as you can, because it's way more valuable like that, because it can stand in for anything that booms, and as long as something doesn't boom, like booming up to 19 is decently rare, or it's more common that you hit 19 without booming than you do with booming. Yeah. So you could get out of one box, you could get 2, 4, 6, 8 stars out of one box without even using it. And in that sense, I would just cut your loss or cut your gains, I guess, and just have everything 19, and then just pick something from the box and not even try your luck past 19, because you probably won't have the money for it in that situation. But yeah, in your situation, I guess you can. When you try 18 or 19, you have to do a little bit with your money, because even though it's only 1 or 2 stars off, your item could just drop down and eat 10 bill and not even see 18. That's always possible. So you want to set your goals. Rolly, you have multiple slime rings, you said, right?
Yeah, I have 3 of them.
3, yeah. So I would say at least go for 19 there. Set that as a goal. Those 2 stars are very efficient. For the kind of treasures.
I have 4 backups.
Yeah. I mean...
Oh, sorry. I have 4 backups, one trace, and then one that's 17 star at the moment, but it's 17 legendary, so I could tap that and then transfer it into something because I'm not using it at the moment, so...
Yeah, but if you... I'd like to see you make... like a 21 star kind of treasure ring. I don't want you to transfer it immediately into superior. I want you to just use it as a to use it as a kind of treasure, basically.
Okay.
Use it as itself. And then if you want to untap the reinforced because you have the 21 as a backup that keeps the slot, right? And it goes to 21, then you can transfer the Kana treasure. And if it doesn't go, you just upgrade the Kana treasure and equip it, and then you just keep the reinforced trace, and you just work on that later once you have, you know, ample resources. Because you want your coins to go towards, I think, at least 21ing all of your superior Golics first. And then once it's at that point, you could decide, you know, do you save up for 22s or do you go back into the reinforced Golics ring? But I'd be totally fine as well, even though it's 3-line, you know, it hurts a bit to leave it behind, to be like in a situation where you have like a 19 or 21 Dark Guardian Angel ring, a 20 or 21 superior, a 21 Kana treasure, and a roar 4. That's a really good ring setup, right? Whether that's specifically the reinforced. The base stats of the reinforced is like, what is it, 1 attack and 5 stat higher or something like that.
Base stat is 5 attack, 8 stat, and then Kana's treasure is 5 stat, 1 attack.
Oh yeah, so 3 stat and 4 attack. Yeah, that's not nothing, but it's almost nothing, right? It's very close compared to like how many backups you can get and how realistically high in Starforce you can get. It's totally fine to like kind of ditch this one for a while. Again, it sucks a little bit on the potential, but if you look at like, you know, potential wise, you can get 27% pretty easily on accessories. So this is 3% extra, you know, in flame score. That's like less than 30. That's like, you know, 1 or 2 flames hitting slightly better flame in difference, right? So 3-9 is nice, but it's nice on the 22. It's not on a 17. You don't want that bricking you and feeling like you're locked into this item now. Even if it was a 33% potential, I'd still be saying the same thing. I would say like probably like stay on 21s for kind of treasure and not do like the 22s because you want to move back, right? But and again, 21 kind of treasure, you want 2 of those anyway. You want 1 to use, and then you want another 1 to transfer into the superior. And then even if you completely destroy the potential on your superior, the 3 stars will already be worth it because it's so much attack. Even if you get some shitty, like, you know, 18% or something like 18% dex on it, and you lose 6%, it's still going to be way better because of the Starforce. So I think that'll be your focus, because you'll most likely only get like in total. I mean, I want you to get more, but you'll probably only get like 3 to 4 stars probably on your arcanes. And it's probably too early to 22 CRA. I would look at 22 CRA after you get all your arcanes to 19 probably.
Yeah, just consider tapping essentially.
Wait, what do you mean consider tapping?
On CRA.
I would consider it 21. after the arcanes are all 19, I would say. Just because of how much it like bounces back and forth. And it's not that important to do that during a shining either. You can even do that during 30% off or a 5, 10, 15, right? Because it's just so much cheaper of a project. Arcanes and, you know, Eternals, those you definitely want to prioritize, and maybe some pitches during shining, because the percentage that you're gaining is the same, but like it's over such a large amount of money that you just end up saving more money and more weeks of crystal cash and grinding and all that.
Another question: is it worth at all to try? I tap my bow to 18. Is it worth at all to tap any higher than that, or no? Not really.
I would look at backups, and I always look at backups to see the risk of this particular upgrade, and then look at other things that you could be doing and seeing what gives you better value for your money. I mean, that's like the analytical way of looking at it, right? If you want a high Starforce weapon and you have some backups, you could always go for it. But your weapon doesn't get past 15 stars. The arcane that gets the most stats from stars is actually your glove. So like
Okay.
a star on glove is actually better than a star on your weapon past 15. It's kind of weird, but like up to 15, your weapon gets like a percentage of the base attack improved into the Starforce. But then past, it goes into like the same thing as everyone else, where it's like this much stat, this much attack per item, per star, based on level of item. But gloves have some like extra attack that comes in every 4 stars or something. So technically, glove is better to Starforce in Arcane past 15 than weapon, which feels very counterintuitive. But the weapon is harder to replace, right? Like if it does ever boom and you have to buy another one, it's like a stab in the kidneys. But if you do have to buy, yeah, exactly. So it is just twice the price. So I mean, if you have a few of them lying around, I would be okay with going up to 19 for a weapon. I went up to 21 on 2 characters because I had like 7 backups and I wasn't living anytime soon. So
I have 2 backups, so
yeah. So I wouldn't be opposed to you going to 19 there, but I would do that after the ring situation somewhat sorted. Yeah, I would try to get like all the superiors to 20/plus. Probably get the slime ring at least to 19 and get like a 4th ring in there. That's so that all the rings are like 19, 20, or 21, like around that level, and then take the what I would see as the less risky ones. Like if you have a box available for drop, then I would say trying to tap your armors to 19 is lower risk than trying to get the weapon to 19. But let's say, I wouldn't say it's worst or best case scenario, but let's say that your stuff like most of the stuff booms pretty quickly and you actually have money left, then you could try the weapon to 19, yeah. I mean, at most you lose 1 star, which isn't the end of the world, but if you have 2 backups, you're most likely to get that 19 anyway, and then you get another confirmed star. Yeah. But yeah, past 19, that's like a 5+ backup situation, and everything else is kind of like 21 to 22 and kind of done, and you don't have anything else to really spend on, right? Okay. And then you might even do like the weapon without safeguarding if you have that many backups, because then that makes the upgrade all that much cheaper as well. But that's a pretty big risk at that point. Probably at that point you want to spend that money on like side characters or boss meals to bring up the money. Although I guess the general shift there is that building up boss meals very far is going to be way less efficient now, because they're maxed out at 12 weekly crystals per character, right? So yeah, every crystal you add doesn't add the new money of the new crystal, but it adds the difference of the new crystal versus the old one. So we have to wait for the change to come for that to actually be a full value increase. But that should be soon. They said they said they should be next Thursday. They will have accounted for the difference. We'll see about that, but
yeah. The thing that I was shocked about with the crystal change was in the patch notes it said that they would be adjusting the crystal prices, and then it just never happened.
Well, they did, but like barely. The percentages were like single digit.
In the compensation one, they said they didn't impose those changes.
No, they have like up to hard lucid is just 0. And then there's a bunch of like 3%, 4%, 5% changes.
Was it?
Yeah, and then like hard Saren went up like I think almost 20%. And the black mage crystals went up 50%.
Yeah,
those are actually pretty big.
Okay.
But
the line that I read was
but the percentages were based on the percentages were based on the dynamic crystal prices in Korea, where those higher level crystals are already way more valuable than the lower ones. But for us, they never did the dynamic prices, so our lower crystals are comparatively way more valuable. Like I think in Korea, if you do all of CRA and HMAG together, it's about the same value as just one CRA boss for us. Like it's really, really low value. But then the higher ones, I think Hard Vihila is like $1 bill or something for a crystal. So
that's crazy.
It's really, really like shifted. So that's why they also didn't have to change the prices of the crystals that much for them, because it was already basically, it had that encapsulated that if you add more bosses to it, that people already kind of start dropping those lower bosses anyway, because they're kind of a waste of time for them. So it wasn't like a shift on where the money came from for them. It was just a shift on how many characters can boss, and it was actually helping them, right? For them, it was a quality of life, because people then didn't feel so forced to go do a bunch of bosses that they don't need the drops from, that are out of their way, that are super, super fast, and the crystals are kind of worthless, but they're just valuable enough to make them go there, right?
Yeah.
But then, so for us, they tried to implement it as well, because it's like, oh, it's a quality of life thing, then we can have it here too. But because we have the different crystal prices, it ended up being a disqualification of life, or whatever you want to call it. It ended up being the opposite effect, because now we have to work a little bit less for way less, or work way more for a little bit more. It's not a good, not a good change. But yeah, it should be fixed on Thursday. Hopefully they got someone running the numbers, someone frantically typing into a calculator or an Excel spreadsheet, try to see what's a fair amount there. So I'm expecting the lower crystals to basically stay roughly the same as where they are now, but then everything probably above Lotus and Damien to probably go up significantly. That's the guess. So I prioritize where you have the most backups, right? For the Shining, and that'll be the next month one. Don't think about any 22s for now. I mean, you have the earring. I assume you just had a bunch of backups and just sent it.
For the earring, I had like 8 or 9 reinforced earrings, and I sent one and it went straight 22, and then I transferred and just tapped.
Okay, yeah.
So
nice. If you have backups here, it's usually if you have like really, really good potentials, which I guess you don't have, but there is the possibility of if you have enough coins to make another one on the side, and then just see if you could tap that one to 21, and then if it works, switch into that one, and then use your current one just as a backup later for 22, and just make that really big jump first, just to see if you can even make it, and then if you can't make that jump, it's fine too. But maybe in a situation where you don't have those resources, it just makes more sense to just go 21 into 20. 20 looks a bit ugly, but 20 is really efficient in terms of risk, right? Very low risk on or decently low risk on the fodder, and 0 risk on the end. That makes it a good Starforce to get a good damage from.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes sense for me is just try to get the slime ring to, like you said, 19 or 20, and then start sending Kana's treasures and see. Because I mean, if the first one goes 20, then I'm gonna start a second one, right?
Yeah, 20. So 20 to 21 is less risky than 19 to 20.
Yeah.
Right, because it can drop. But you'd have to see. You have to reassess at every moment how many booms you have. Like if you have 4 and your first one goes to 20, in the situation, you could probably make a second one, but then try to go for 21 on the second one probably.
Yeah.
But if your first 3 boom and your fourth one goes to 20, then you keep that, and then you wait for more backups and probably just replace the reinforced. And every time you have to look at what's your money left, right? Okay, what's the next project? What's the money left? What's the the over under? What's the the percentiles, right? What makes sense? Am I going to reach this project or not? And then if it's something that's kind of a Hail Mary, see if there's a lower risk way of doing it by doing it on an item on the side, so that if it goes, you could then replace it. If it doesn't go, then you can always just fall back on your current one. There's like that the idea of an upgrade being cheaper if you just do it on an existing item, which it is, but then it's riskier, and then risk also has a cost to it, but it's a more intangible cost. So you have to rely on kind of calculators to tell you what that risk is, and not try to have your feelings dictate what should probably be better, because as humans, I think we're very bad inherently at like gauging risk and just stats. It's just a lot of it is not very intuitive, so you kind of just have to let the numbers guide you on that one. Okay. But yeah, I think if you can get a 19 Guardian Angel Ring, 20 or 21 kind of treasure, and then maybe the Maestro or another kind of treasure goes. I would say the first, if you do get a 20 or 21, like whatever you want to risk on there is fine. The first one I would hold and just use as is, and if you can make a second one, then I would transfer that into the Superior.
Yeah, you're talking about the Kana's treasure or the slime ring. essentially. So like if I get
Or the
one
Meister,
slime ring
yeah.
that goes, yeah. So if I get a slime ring that goes to 20, like
Mhm.
if my one that I
I
have
probably
equipped goes
just
to
aim for
20,
19 there first, because it's like
okay.
up to 19 is just like that efficiency. If you're left with more backups and you're left with more money, and all the other projects then are more risky, then you can always circle back and try to get the Dawn Ring even further. But I would
I
get
keep
like those
forgetting that
guaranteed
it's a.
upgrades first.
I keep forgetting Dawn Ring's a 160. That's my
Yeah.
issue. I keep thinking it's a 140. I don't know why.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah,
That
I
was
think it would
where my
make
brain was
sense
going.
if the... Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, it makes more sense now, yeah. Yeah, no, and you have the set bonus with the Twilight Mark, right? So you do want to keep that set bonus.
the
So I wouldn't...
21 Twilight Mark.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's good. That's a good piece. It
Yeah.
seems weird, but I mean, it's in between a condensed power crystal and a berserk. You know, that's a pretty big gap to to bridge.
Well, the thing that is weird is it's like I feel like berserk is it's like that chase item, right? That we all want and everyone needs, but then like you actually look at the efficiency on Twilight Mark and it's actually not that bad, like compared.
No,
Because of the
it's
Dawn
really
set.
close. The Daybreak, the berserk actually has really high base stats. That's what makes it,
Yeah.
what
Sets
makes
it
it good.
apart.
And then it's the set bonus with pitch that just eventually takes it past the point. But you almost like if you have, I have a character with a 22 Twilight Mark and a 21 berserk, and the berserk even now finally has a good flame. And has a double prime potential, but switching into it would still lose me damage because I lose the set bonus for the Twilight Mark and I don't have the 2-set pitch boss instead. And the 2-set pitch boss is the same as a 2-set Daybreak
Twilight.
set, so you can 1-to-1 switch it. But until that point, I'm just still sitting on that thing, and that's why a lot of people also go like 22 or nothing. Just they'd rather have the knowledge that they can switch when it's got completely done rather than finish it and then it's like contingent on still getting another thing, you know.
Yeah, it's also the bit of like if I 22 this and it booms, then it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Or if I hit, then okay, cool. Now I wait for the next piece, and there's one piece done. Or done.
Yeah, and you know that all of the value that you're going to throw into it beyond that in terms of flames and potential is going to be used at some point. Like, it's a guarantee. Like, you have some spare flames, you have some spare cubes, you don't know what to use it on. You could always use it on there because you know it's going to come back and pay for itself. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, makes sense. But I'm all about like setting yourself up into a situation where you can do that and it's not also from an efficiency standpoint a bad decision. Like if you have at least a 21 Twilight Mark, then I think going 22 or nothing on a berserk is something you can do, and you can also justify it statistically. But if you have a 19 Twilight Mark and you go 22 or nothing on a berserk, that doesn't feel like a good decision there. Like I would get a berserk to 19 first and then go for Twilight Marks 21 to 22, or try to get a 21, and then if you hit a 21 Twilight Mark, then I would go 22 or nothing on the berserk and kind of use that backup, even though it's a different item, to bring the other item up, because shifting out a 19 Twilight Mark for a 19 berserk is like roughly equal. So at that point, again, set bonus thing, but it's not going to be that major in terms of total damage for you. So at that point, you'll be fine to also sit on a 19 berserk for a little bit, and then you can roll way riskier on the Twilight Marks that you get, hopefully more often than berserked. And then once that hits, you can go super risky on the berserk, and then you kind of just use them to frog leap over each other, right?
Yeah, you leapfrog them. So.
Yeah. Oh, leapfrog, yeah. Frog leapfrog. Pennant is always just going to be a bit stickier because of how rare the Dominators are, and then Daybreaks.
I think personally it makes more sense to tap the 2 spares I have first than it does to send the one that's 21, because if that one booms, then it's like, oh shit. But if I think if one of the backups goes 21, do I transfer into Superior, or do I just send it to 22?
That's such a personal thing. Because I don't think any answer is wrong there. It all has to do with your personal level of like risk aversion. If you feel like 21 for you is going to be done for a long, long time, and 20 just will always feel like it's not done, then it probably would be better to just try to 22 with the Dominator Pendant so that you can transfer it straight. But then I'd be like, well, now you're sitting on a 22 Dominator Pendant while you're equipping a 21, and you're going to transfer 22 down to a 21 while you have a 21. At that point, I would almost say switch out to 21 with the 22, equip the 22, and then try to tap the 21.
Yeah.
Because now at least you have that guaranteed star already. You have it in your hand versus turning it into 4 stars, but then losing the 1 star. The thing that most people do, I think, is they try to get a Daybreak to 22.
Yeah.
And then that will clearly replace the Dominator, and then that gives you free reign to try to tap the Dominator to 22 for the Superior if you want to at that point. And then if it doesn't go, you still made that 1 star upgrade, right? And you future-proofed yourself for Berserk and stuff later instead of doing it with a Dominator. I think what truly will determine that for you is where you're at with your coins, because I think you have 2,000 coins?
I have 3K.
3K, yeah. That's a good amount of coins. Where if you can buy 4 backups, but you only have 2 Dominators?
I got 3 total.
3?
The one that's equipped.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I would almost say take the risk on the Superior instead of on the Dominator, because you're just gonna like run out of fodder before you're gonna run out of the target drop.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
But then the target drop also has to contend with possible Superior rings, right? Because that's a universal backup there for multiple items. Belt doesn't have to worry about that, and the earring doesn't have to worry about that, but you have to look at the ring at that point.
Well, earring doesn't have to worry about that because earring's done. So.
Yeah, earring's done. Yes, because it's done because it dropped, right?
Yes.
And the belt, you don't want to dip into that at all.
I have 4 spares on the belt. I'm debating tapping it, but like that's a 20-star belt. That's my thing.
Exactly. I mean, that is a project to do, but I would probably do that after like all those other things we talked about are all kind of like settled. So I would put like tapping the belt from 20 to 21 around the same point as trying to go 22 on the CRA.
Okay.
I would like group that together. And then probably right after that is like, again, you have to look at the backups, but probably right after that is like when you try to see if you can get the Dawn Guardian Angel Ring up to 21, and whether you want to get the maybe like the weapon to 19.
Yeah, I'm making myself a list of like
that's kind of like
everything is done. Here's what I had.
Yeah.
With Cube Sale, then if I'm finishing hybrids and then trying to get more drop, what do you think I should max out at Meso spending wise?
Sorry, say that again.
What should I max out spending money on for Cube Sale? Specifically for the like.
Oh, if you hit all your hybrids.
Well, like, what is the most I should spend? Like, should I zero out? You think or no? This is a tough call.
Well, I would say like this shining is nice, but you're not going to be saving way more than on like a regular 5, 10, 15 because you just don't have the spending power of like a multiple of like hundreds of billion plus, and you're not doing like 21 to 22 arcanes, and you're not doing eternals, so it's not going to be as important, I think, that you have the absolute most of mesos that everyone's ever seen. There's another 5, 10, 15 in the update as well, right?
Yeah,
I think
and that was the other
further
thing,
down.
because it was like, yeah, I was gonna say shining is like great and all, but part of me is also wondering if I just straight up don't even bother with shining, because like I think shining would save, I think an average it saves like 30% of the mesa that you would normally spend.
No, because it has 30% off, so that's already 30% saved, and 5 to 15. So I think it's closer like 55 to 57% or something is the number I remember seeing floating around somewhere. So it's definitely good, or amazing, right? And definitely better than Cube Sale as well. But you're kind of stuck with the order of operations and just general buying power that's kind of restricting you. If there is like, if you have your hybrid stuff in place, then the rest of your account is like Starforce until you have like only 20s and 21s in your account, basically. The 2 exceptions might be trying to 3-line your emblem and maybe double crit damage on your glove. Those are like the 2 main exceptions, I think. But as long as you have at least like 2 lines legendary on everything else, which is going to be super cheap compared to any other big project, right? You're just full in Starforce mode until everything is like 20 or 21, and then you can circle back to like working on the potential. So if the the dual, like the hybrid drop meso set, if that's completed, I would just, any kind of Starforce event that comes up, always look at, okay, what are backups? What makes sense? What is the next upgrade? 30% offs are probably the ones you're most likely to skip, because that's only really good on high Starforce for items that you're not safeguarding. So basically only for CRA. So like CRA to 22 would be like the main and maybe only thing you consider, unless you suddenly have like 14 kind of treasure rings lying around, right? Or your belt booms and you're going back to pig bean belts and getting like 30 of those things, right? That could be a possible scenario.
Gotcha.
That's when you would look for 30% off. Otherwise, you just look for 5 to 15s, look at the Sunny Sundays, look what's coming up, and then see which projects you might do then.
Yeah. It says,
but take advantage of anyone, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm looking at the what's it called? It's the MapleStory Starforce calculator. Just
Starforce. Yeah.
So it says if it's a 140 item, so I'm specifically looking at the rings. It says average cost is like basically 5 bill, and then median is 3.8, but then 75% chance within 6 bill. So, and that's on Shining.
That's on Shining.
And then on just 5, 10, 15, it's average cost 6 bill, median cost 4.5, 75% chance within 7.8. So it saves a decent amount, but it almost isn't like.
Well, the thing is scaling that, right? Is that doing that on 6 items means that you get like 2 or 3 of them for free.
Oh.
That's the idea behind it, right?
What? I didn't realize the difference between just a 5, 10, 15 versus a 30% off. 30% off is almost bait. Like if it's just the event on its own.
Yeah, so if you're not safeguarding, 30% off and 5 to 15. So if you look at like, if you were to do like up to 22 stars, like all the way on a 140, no safeguarding with multiplicative, like off event is just way too much. You never want to do off event. But if you check between 30% off and 5, 10, 15, it's almost the same. It's got to be slightly in favor of 30% off, but it's relatively the same.
I honestly don't want to safeguard these, correct?
Yeah, you want to get to... If you feel like you would have to safeguard, then it's probably just too early for you to work on it. And you want to work on something else instead. Yeah.
For Connor's Treasure, I don't think I will. And then for Slime Ring, I don't think I will either.
Yeah, this is kind of paradoxical. You will eventually get to the point where you will safeguard them, but it's just to save yourself time from the booms, because you don't want to have to like go back up to 15 again and waste that time. So you'd rather just pay the extra money on safeguard, because once you're like tapping arcanes 21 to 22 and doing eternals, level 140 items are just free. Like they just don't cost anything. It's just your time is actually more valuable there than the Starforce on them. So then you might have a bunch of backups, but you might still safeguard. And people in chat will often ask, like, why are you safeguarding? You have so many of them. It's like, because I don't want to waste the time getting back up here, and I just want to increase the chance that this is the one that goes. So I could get to the next things, because I have 400 billion to spend in one day, which is already about like 11 hours of Starforcing. If I spend, even like half an hour on this one item just booming it 4 times, even though I have the backups, then that might mean that another project that's also very important that I can't get to just because of time constraint. Now that's going to be a little bit less of a problem, right? Because we have 2 shinings, so that's almost just not going to happen. But that becomes a legitimate factor in whether you safeguard or not, is just how much time it might actually save you. And yeah, even a safeguarded tap at 140. I mean, if you safeguard Eternal from 15 to 16, I think it's 350 mil per tap. Like that's probably about as much as getting a 140 item from 15 to 17 without safeguarding like 4 times or something. But it's so much faster. Like the money just melts. So that kind of becomes the paradox where when you don't have any backups, you want to safeguard. When you have a lot of backups and not too much money, you don't want to safeguard. But if you have a lot of money and a lot of backups, you probably want to safeguard because you have a lot of things to do and you don't care as much about those individual mesos. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the base amount here is like 15 billish, and if you put both of them on, it goes down to 7.5. So it's about a 50% off.
The thing I didn't even realize is if you go up and take safeguarding off, like how much that even brings it down.
Well, yeah, and that's why having good drop rate makes a lot of difference, because drop rate also makes you a lot of money because it means you might not have to safeguard. If you do it just for a level 200 item without safeguarding, like it's still like a ridiculous number, right?
Oh my god.
But if you add safeguarding, that is just again
it's like what 40 bill, right?
percentage wise, it doesn't look like a big difference because it'll go from like 23 to 30, but that means that's about a third extra. So instead of being able to do 4 items, you can do 3 items, or instead of 4, you can do 5. Like it just adds the scaling, right? Instead of having to do an hour a day, you have to do an hour and 15 minutes a day, and then
exactly
that adds over a long period of time.
Okay.
So that's why drop rate is king in this game, right? We are time gated, and by getting drop rate, you basically buy more time in a week. You make every week count for 8 days, or for 9 days, or for 10 days, or if you get all the way up there, you make every week count for like 5 weeks worth of chances to get drops. So that's the only reason you can realistically progress in this game.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying don't worry about saving anything else off the cube sale for now, and then just just farm as much as I can and do boss meals as much as I can, and then just evaluate at each.
If you buy a bunch of brights and you have some left, you could definitely try to go for what was the double crit on the gloves, but remember that for sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we chatted about it being more. It's like in the end game, it's more efficient for it to be 2-line stat, 1-line crit damage, right? But if you hit 2-line crit damage, take it anyway.
Yeah, I think mathematically it might have shifted a little bit because of more crit rate in the Legion artifacts. So you have to double check with like class Discord, but I believe that it's technically still like 1-line of crit. But I guess technically, let's see. I think if you get like 3-line dex, that's probably so like 1-line crit, then 3-line dex is probably a little bit better than that. Then 1-line crit and 1-line stat, then 1-line crit and 2-line stat is, I think, barely beaten by 2-line crit, but it's like pretty close. And then if you hit 1-line crit and like 2-line stat, but one is a prime line, that's better than 2-line crit. And then of course you have 2-line crit and a line of stat above that, and then 3-line crit is obviously like way above. But you know, financially that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
But like my marksman was going for double line crit damage and hit 8 crit damage and 23 dex. So I kept that because that's technically better than 2-line crit damage. At least it was back then, so you'd have to double check. But I assume it's still like around the same levels, yeah.
Don't worry, I only have 203% crit rate.
Yeah, I think you want to get around the point where you're bursting, you get to around 300% crit damage.
Yeah. I'm
with
baseline
like
83 right now, so...
Yeah, I have a vicious shot, just fucking nukes that.
Here, hold on. Let me press vicious shot, and we'll see what it goes up to. Let's see. 184.
Get everything? 184, yeah. Yeah, I think... Wait, was it 300 or 200? Yeah, you definitely... People definitely go over the 200s.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And, like, I mean, I'm not even...
bigger Legion, right? Legion gets quite a lot. I don't know if you're getting a lot from Legion. Oh, your inner ability is very nice, yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 8k Legion finally, so...
Mm-hmm.
As everything freezes when I open Legion.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that. That was like a little pause there. Oh, artifact level, almost leveling?
Yeah, it's super close.
10 points.
10 off. 10 points. Where can I get 10 points, guys?
It's a Gryffindor. Yeah, get one of those dailies done. Wait, do you get a new... Oh, yeah, you get a new level out of it, right? With 1 point?
Yeah, I get this one maxed.
No, that one costs like 3, isn't it?
Does it?
The last level? You might be able to level to level 1, though. Yeah. Is this one? That might be 1 level. I don't know if it's... Is it 1?
Yeah, it's 1.
1, 2, 2, 3, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So these are the first ones I have.
Yep. Yeah, mathematically it's better to level up the 1 now because it's just cheaper than leveling the other one, right?
Exactly. So.
Okie dokie. All right. Yeah, and then hopefully the next, maybe already by the 5.10.15, but maybe the next 5.10.15 after that, you'll just have way more backups, and then you'll just have a lot more options and you'll just let the amount of backups that you have guide, what the next project is that you push on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hope you can get a armor box, and if you can hold that, maybe you can get some free 18s and 19s like cheeky in there. But probably by the next one, not for this one.
Yeah.
I think most of your money is gonna get into finishing up the hybrids.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'd love to have happen is to hit the rest of my hybrids pretty quickly. I mean, I bought the 30 bright cubes out of the event store because I saw them, and I hit a hybrid off those 3. Or those 30. So I feel like that was lucky, but I feel like at the same time, it's just relying on it to hit those 2 lines is the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just all just maths on, like, the odds, right? It's, this is why what ends up happening a lot is that people have, like, full 17-star gear and, like, near-perfect potential is because they just don't want to even risk the chance of booming things. But in not risking that, they're going into into potential that's way more inefficient than just going for more backups and risking it. Overall, just pays off way more than trying to get an extra 3 or 6% on a potential. That really only makes sense when the item is locked into a position where either the risk of booming there is insanely high, or you're going for damage that you don't really need, and it makes more sense to just kind of like round out the equip rather than trying to push even further into inefficiency on the Starforce. It's really like when you're just starting, you just Starforce up to 10, then you kind of like roll cubes, right? Then you work on the potentials on WSE, you try to get your drop rate, all of that stuff ready. Then you just get all of your equips, you get everything to 17, you get everything to either, like 2-line legendary, maybe the CRA stays on unique, then the CRA starts getting spent up, then everything else you have backup stuff starts getting sent up, always like chasing the CRA down initially. Yeah. And then once everything is like, 22 on the CRA and everything else is 21 or 20, then you just start like min-maxing your potentials basically. And if all of that is done, then you start fixing your flames, and then you start being into pitch waiting room and eternal waiting room. And then you start working on side characters, basically. That's always like the grand. That's what makes most sense, like financially. But like you'll have a 22 earring because your first one just ended up going. But 99% of people will probably have 22 CRA as their first 22s on their character. It just makes no sense. And you want to avoid having some items 22 and then like half 22 and half 17. That just means your approach is probably on the lower side on efficiency. If everything else is like at most like 2 stars apart, that's probably where you want to be. Like if your lowest stuff is 19 and your highest is 21, then you're like peak efficiency for your money typically. But you can have outliers, and that can be based on RNG.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. The only reason that one I sent to 22 is it was kind of the epitome of like, you're hitting Starforce and you look away for a second and you look back and you're like, oh shit, wait, what happened?
Actually, it just happened. Yeah.
Well, that was like with one of my boss meals, my Shadower. I crafted the shield, and I did the exact same thing of like, I was just like spam clicking the like enhance with skipping the Starforce thing. I looked away and looked back, and I was like, wait, why isn't the item in the window anymore?
Yeah, it's like either it boomed or it went. Yeah,
and it did go 20, but it was one of those ones where it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the plus sides of the. Well, that's really the only minor downside is when they cut the animation down by like 80%, because it just used to take forever, right? The whole animation. It just took you forever to spend your money, so you just be sitting there. But at least you would never like accidentally tap, because you had like a whole minute to be ready for the current Starforce to be be over. But like with the shorter animation, you just click, yeah. And
you look away and you look back and it's gone.
Yeah, well, you could be bouncing 15 to 16 just 14 times back and forth and just not even get anywhere. Or, you're 4 clicks down and suddenly you're at 21. It's like, oh, wait, what happened? That's what you want, though. That's the...
Like, I blacked out. How did I get here?
And you should black out some more. Then you start thinking that's a strategy, Okay. Oh, yeah, this is just your your notes at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else I can do you for right now?
No, I think you answered everything I had questions for, and it's just the understanding that I can go for it and do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so it's good. Just bounce the idea off someone else. Make sure you have there's not something that you overlooked or anything.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it with that stuff. I mean, I understand like this game is a marathon; it's not a sprint, and I just am trying to, enjoy the game for what it is. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that works out. Hopefully, you don't have to dive too deep and dig into all of your money. Maybe you have something left to throw something on the gloves as well if the hybrids go. If they don't, they don't, But cubing off event is pretty fine, right? Especially if it's Bright Cube project, because you can just do it whenever and there's very low risk. But I guess if you don't hit everything, I'd probably still save for Shining. See if you can get some of those gains on the Arcanes, and maybe send some of those rings. And then you can circle back to potentials to either like fix the items that you transferred or finish off the hybrids. And then from there on out, it's just like purely Starforcing, baby.
Yeah. So I feel like I understand the direction. I just was like unsure about correct steps. So
yep. Okay. Well, best of luck.
Thank you, Scardor. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you do something fun later.
Hopefully we can clear C. Carlos for the first time.
And hopefully we'll be spending a lot of money later.
Well, I'll probably be doing that tomorrow because of, time zone and everything. But yeah, I'll have to go through my characters and kind of figure out what I want to do.
What? You don't want to stay up till like 2 a.m? Come on, that's no fun.
No, I've been staying up too late again. I need to cut it down, save some content for tomorrow. But I know what a double prime is like mathematically what I should be doing now, but then if you hit a 23, then you have to double prime again, so that seems so horribly inefficient.
Well, what are you double priming? Everything?
So technically, I think the most efficient to do is your emblem, but it's also really expensive, so there's a good chance you spend everything and not hit. So if you want like a more guaranteed hit, it would be like accessories, so specifically pitches.
Yeah.
But like I have 5 Berserk sitting around, so I'd probably rather see if I can hit a 23 on that. Yeah. Last one already, the last one I tried already saw 22 twice as well, so.
Nice.
And I've got like 20 slime rings to see if I can hit 23 there. I don't know. But then that's also so inefficient compared to boosting up a side character, but I don't really feel like leveling up another side character, so... in total, I think I have like... I'm gonna have 4 or 5 Eternals already ready for this Shining. But I could also go hard on Hybrid and then just do the Eternals later. There's like too many options almost. So I'm gonna have to really think about it. I'll probably just spend some time tomorrow thinking about it, yeah. Because you can buy a lot of cubes and just use them later. You don't have to necessarily use them immediately.
How long do they have of an expire time?
It's 30 days.
Okay, that's not bad. 30 days is actually pretty good. Because I've seen like... I saw that infamous clip of the twins.
Oh yeah, they start at 9 a.m.
200 bill and like not hitting double prime in the emblem. And it was like very tough to watch.
Yeah, I think the average is like 450 or something.
It's insane.
On cube sale. Yeah. When that gets to like, that becomes your next efficient upgrade, I feel like you almost have to start asking some questions on what you're doing with your life, because it's like, goddamn.
It's like, maybe that second character's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah. Right, yeah. 390 off event. Well, that means, if it's 25% off, it's like, it's all the way down to 300 bill, right? You're saving 100 bill?
I mean, at that point...
Damn, I actually have 300 bill. Maybe I should do it. Damn it.
At that point, just go triple prime, right?
Yeah, that's just a little bit more.
Yeah, but like, why settle, right?
Yeah, I don't know. 12.2 trill is a little bit much. With a 75.
3 weeks, right?
Oh, yeah, 4 trill a week, easy. Easy.
You would have to be doing like 180 crystals worth of like C10EH Saren.
Yeah, Black Mage crystals actually being selling like, what would it be, over 5 weeks, 55 characters. You have to sell like 11 Black Mage crystals per week as well, like all solo. I saw a dude though. I saw a dude on a Twitch section the other day. It was like at like 5 character solo Black Mage so far. That guy probably is making out like a bandit with those crystals. Just those 5 characters. That's like 15.
They're what, 2 bill each, right?
No, they went up 50%. They were for 2.5, and now they're 3.75.
Oh damn!
So that's 15. It's like 19 bill or something with just those 5 characters soloing.
That's insane.
Which is 5 bosses.
Yeah. Do what Draxter said. 180 Black Mage meals per week.
Easy.
Small investment.
Except, you know, you only have 55 classes in your account. It's a monthly, but it's mathematically not possible. Just have 720 Black Mage solo characters. Yeah, that sounds so reasonable. You could do it at non-reboot and just transfer all the mezzo, easy clap, to one account, just fund one account with it. But what do you need to fund more when you have
triple prime?
One of those problems, yeah. You have all the income in the world, but then nothing to spend it on anymore.
Yeah.
You just make items to sell for more items to get more money.
I've made it put at what cost?
Mm-hmm. Oh damn, this almost seems like something to work on, but I do need, and you do need to keep money for the Eternals. I think that's a more guaranteed, more reasonable upgrade.
What are you at for Eternals? How many have gone?
So all of them have gone on the arc so far.
Oh damn! Nice.
I have a spare 21, and then 19 and 222s. And I can make a shoulder. I think I'm 1 off of being able to make 2 shoulders. And I can make one of the other pieces.
Which one's 19?
The top. So the idea is just almost, I make a top, try to get it to 21.
Honestly, buy 2 shoulders and then put them both to like 17 and then just tap them one at a time, see which one goes higher.
Well, the thing with the shoulder is that even if you get it to 22 and upgrade it, it's not an upgrade compared to the arcane.
Oh, so it's not that better.
No, it's about the same. I think it's even a downgrade for Demon Avengers because of the set bonus. You need the you need the limbo pieces to push it over. Yeah. Because the main reason is because the glove doesn't get flames, right? So you don't get the flame advantage of the higher level item. So you only gain the base stats and the set bonus exchange, which is pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's not a priority. That's like your Lucid Belt basically. And you can use the Kaling pieces for the top and the bottom as well. So there's no pressure there. And since the shoulder only comes into play once you're clearing limbo, and I'm not going to be clearing limbo, I could also say I'm just going to put those pieces towards, like if the top booms, to maybe make another top and see if I can actually get the top to 22. Because then I'll have plenty of weeks of getting Kaling pieces again that'll only have to go into shoulder anyway. And
that's fair.
And I need limbo to go before, and limbo is going to take so much more time, so it's, I'm just waiting for easy limbo in Korea so that I could start doing easy limbo in 6 months. Well, by that time I should hopefully get to the point of normal limbo, but we'll see. If they start dropping the boxes as well, right? The armor boxes, but those will only drop for the boss itself, so then you'd want to make shoulders again, because then if you can get an armor box from Kalos, but you already have all of the items 22, then the box is useless. No.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts as well. It's hard to long-term plan like that when the things in the long term are still changing with every update. So you have to constantly adjust. Oh well, that's more of my problem, I guess. But yeah, you'll probably see this weekend how we're doing. So yeah, best of luck to you and to all of you.
Thank you. Best of luck
at home.
to you too.
Thank you, and I'll see you around.
See you around. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okie dokers. All right, another plan made, another priority list set. So yeah, if you're in a similar position, hopefully this was somewhat helpful for you as well. And of course, if you're in a very similar position in terms of the bossing, feel free to reach out to Phantoms. Was that your... That's not your in-game name, right, Phantoms? Oh, it's right here. Samiri. Feel free to reach out to Samiri in Kronos. Maybe you guys can start setting up some practice runs for bosses, right? Maybe start with normal Saren. Maybe set up an actual monthly Black Mage party. And start working towards Easy Kalos and Hard Saren together, working towards 275. Or if you're already at 275, you know, and maybe you're already a little bit stronger, but you're not really doing the bosses because also it's annoying to find a party. Maybe start grouping up together. Another way to do that is by joining my Discord, and there you can give yourself the roles for the bosses in here. Let's see if I can find that quickly. Discord. Hopefully nothing pops up that shouldn't be on stream. We'll see. Always nice. Bossing. Oh yeah, it looks a bit different for me because, you know, I have all the rights. I have all the roles. I have all the things. You have boss roles sign up here, where you can reply with the different emotes here, based on which bosses you're interested in being part of party. So you can see already 14 people are going to start looking for Limbo. We have 35 people in the Kalos and Kaling, all the way to a few hundred people looking for certain of these other bosses. And then these Discords here will show up, and you can go in there, and then you can just talk to all the people who are available there and be like, yo, I want to start doing this boss. Who's with me? Who wants to start practicing? Who wants to form a new party for this or these bosses? And hopefully get started there. Also, don't forget to use this one in game when you have the... oh, I actually changed the key for that. Where's the boss? Oh, here. Boom. Nope, not there. Boom, 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 boom. This one, recruit party, right? It's very good for finding one-time people, but if you do a one-time party with people and they seem like they know what they're doing, they seem nice, they seem like they're coordinating and communicating, ask those people, right? Just ask like, hey, are you looking for a static party, or are you just filling for 1 week? And see if you can drag someone from there as well. One person here, one person there, boom. Now you've got 4 people. Now you just need to find 2 fills. That makes it a whole lot easier. But that starting is rough. But keep trying. And if you guys are setting up a boss party and you need someone to help with maybe with coaching or reviewing some of the runs just with some tips, let me know. Reach out. And I'll always do my best to help you guys out. So yeah, if you want one of these sessions as well, check out the description of the video or check out !coaching in the chat. Yeah, I stream every day, answer questions every day, so I'll be more than willing to help you out if you have some individual questions. If you have a whole bunch of questions or you want like general direction for your account, coaching sessions might be something for you, so consider it. Either way, good luck on Starforcing and cubing this weekend. Hope everyone hits, but not every one of you will. Let's face reality. But some of you will. And make sure to rub it in the faces of the people who didn't, you know, because that's the best way to do it. All right. Thanks for watching this one. See you in the next one. Peace.